Good afternoon. I am Tony Dattino, founder of the USA Memory Championship, president of Dattino Consulting, and author of 2 books all about research that I've done over the last 30 years on the brain and how it can make a difference, how that science and research can make a difference in our lives. And last week I did a Live with Tony segment on the elements of brain health that I'm very excited about because Michael Dattino, who is my son, and I'm just as proud of the work he's doing as anything I've ever done, and I think he's going to surpass me in what he achieves in this world. But he is working on a whole course on brain health and the elements that we should put inside that course really mirror the elements that are in this notion about your ideal brain care score. But let me just take a quick sidebar. I see one of my favorite people is on. Good afternoon, Salongo. It is wonderful to see you back here. And it is always a pleasure to have you on. I've missed you a little bit. I'm not sure what you've been up to, but it's always fun to have you back on, and it's always a pleasure to know that you're listening. But so welcome. What I wanted to cover is the parallels of what we talked about last week, and these are the elements that Michael has taken from the Maximum Memory Mastery online course and have included in this new course that he's developing that's defining the elements of brain health. And then I'm reading this, right? This is the December issue. I get it in today's mail. So as I get this in today's mail, it's talking about maintaining memory, thinking skills, and a positive emotional outlook requires practicing good brain care. And what the concept in the article, which is what we've been talking about, we being Michael and myself have been talking about now for years, is we pay so much attention to our physical being, right? Our blood pressure and our HDLs and our LDLs and all these different blood measures we get. And so we think about all of the physiological things that we need to do to maintain a healthy body. And has anybody ever thought to come up and create a score for how well all of the things that we do impact our brain health and brain care? And what do we do with that? And what the Mind, Mood, and Memory article really touches, that really got right to me, was there are so many things in our life that we can take control over and not just dispel our control over this to our genes or to the fact that we're getting older, but it goes on to talk about what are the things that we can do that we can take control over. And so it maps back to what we've been talking about and what's going to be in this new course that Michael's putting together on brain health and expanding each of the elements that we've been talking about. So yesterday, my broadcast was all about stress and what are some of the things that we need to be aware of and what is science telling us about the elements of stress. Well, here comes the Massachusetts General Hospital, and it talks about all of the different elements that we can take control over and we can put into our lives that start anywhere from the exercise routines, the physical exercises that we have, and articles break it down between aerobic and anaerobic, meaning the air that we're breathing through our lungs, as well as the weights and the conditioning we're building with our muscles. So I'll be expanding that over my next several broadcasts because I think science is giving us new information that allows us to take more control over our mental well-being. And I can't tell you over the years that I've done this work how sad it is that people wait until they're either in early mild cognitive impairment, early stages of dementia, family members with Alzheimer's, and then they start to worry and build anxiety over their mental health conditions. And what Massachusetts is really breaking through, and I just love it because it matches what we've been talking about for years, is, hey, what are people doing that focuses on the elements of control that they can take over and have an impact on their future brain health and minimize any degradations that can take over and that can impact your own personal health. So what their point is, it's time for people to become more focused on their mental well-being and their mental fitness and put as much priority on that as they do with their heart and their breathing and their physical conditions that they go to doctors for. Now, I'm not going to wait around for doctors to catch up to this. This is like fresh off the press, got it in today's mail. It's the December issue. And what they're talking about are the elements that we can take control over in our lives, such as the exercising, nutritional habits. What does alcohol do in terms of our brain and the impacts that it has on our thinking? What do emotions have that come into play, and what emotion do we want to have and build into our life? So when we talk about a positive emotional outlook, what does that all mean? And in my 2 books, I've written something called GIG, Garbage Into a Brain, Garbage Grows. And that what we're learning today is that negativity of that garbage has an impact on our life expectancy as well as on memory, critical thinking, and our outlook on our purpose of living and how long do we want to live. We talk about, there we go, mental challenges. What are the mental challenges and the new learnings that we are engaging in that allow us to continue to feed our intellect with new experiences and new educational lessons and new learnings that help continue to grow. The science is talking about telomeres and dendritic spines. They grow the muscle mass inside your brain. Now, it's not muscle mass, it's neural connections and pathways, but it helps you to build a stronger brain, as well as we talk about building our abs and our pecs and all these other muscles in our arms. And we see these guys with this big, well, what are we doing up here? And this is what, I read this at lunch today, and I was so excited to pick this up because it's like, my God, there's hope for all of us. That there's a hospital and a research lab that's now been set up that's looking to score. And it took me back to an exercise that I did last week with you, if you were listening to it last week, which is when I'm doing live workshops, I put this map up, but without the sub-branches, and I ask people to draw spokes from 1 to 10 on how well are you conditioning in your life and focused on nutritional impacts to your mental health. So 1 to 10, how well are you knowledgeable about nutritional habits and how it impacts your brain? How well, from 1 to 10, are you aware of exercise impacts, be it running and aerobic, breathing, as well as muscle exercising? So 1 to 10, give me a score on that. How well do you control your sleep habits? And are you into routine sleep where you're getting right down into those deep levels of REM sleep to where you're getting 5 or 6 hours of really good, solid, peaceful sleep to where your brain is cleaning up its toxins? And so how well is your sleeping going on? And do that from 0 to 10. Let's talk about social interaction. This talks about the importance of having a network of 2 or 3 people that you can lean on, and most importantly during this COVID experience and impact that we're having, where we're isolating and seeing loneliness and depression and suicides going up and anxieties building in people. And I've done multiple broadcasts on that over the last 6 months. So how well are you doing on social interaction from 0 to 10? Let's look at your mental challenges. What are you doing to educate yourself on something new? Whether it be dancing, or maybe you're learning to sing, or maybe you're learning a new game, maybe you're playing something with the family or with people that you can even, I do crosswords with my daughter and granddaughter on Zoom. So I send them a copy of a crossword and we do crossword puzzles together. So what are we doing that continues to maintain our mental functions and the mental challenges that we have? And then yesterday's broadcast was all about stress and what do the emotional levels of stress do to us, and what do we want to do in terms of how we manage that and how we want to stay in control. So I talk about doing 0 to 10 on each of those, and then on the end of those, connect those end lines. So connect those lines from 0 to 10, connect those, and I call that your wheel of mental health. And there's a score. They'll be a little bit more formal. This is a little bit quicker and easier. It'll tell you how well are you doing for your mental care, and how well are you doing the things that are important for your own memory, for your own brain health, your own care of what you need to keep thinking about, what you need to keep memorizing in terms of your memories, and what you need to do in terms of critical thinking, what you need for proper communications with people. So I'll talk more about this because this has got so much in it. This issue of the December Mind, Mood, and Memory of Massachusetts General Hospital has got so much in it that we have been talking about for 6 months. And I'm just delighted with my Live with Tony audience that if they've been listening to these and adapting to some of the things and adopting some of the behaviors and suggestions I've made. We are on the cutting edge. We're on the leading edge. Any of you that have been following any of the tips I've gotten are just being further and further supported. And I've got 3 different newsletters: UCLA, Duke Medicine, Harvard, and now Massachusetts General, all in today's mail. That just it gives me my next several Live with Tony topics. But we're ahead of it. And so to that degree, we have a lot to be thankful for as we come into this holiday season. You've got things to be thankful for if you've been picking up some of these behaviors and putting them into your day-to-day life. All right, so today is Tuesday. This is my afternoon. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I'll be doing my Live with Tony tomorrow. I might move it up into the afternoon, not sure. We've got social distancing and turkey planned for outside in our backyard on Thursday. So I'll give you an update on my schedule tomorrow in terms of the rest of the week. But at least for now, we're picking up again tomorrow sometime in the afternoon, evening hours, and we'll pick up another piece of mind, mood, and memory and how you can maintain your own mental health. Until then, take a look at Maximum Memory Mastery. Maximum Memory Mastery is exploding. We've got a couple of new courses that Michael is adding on based on his experience over the last 18 months. And I think we're on the cutting edge of some really exciting things about what all of us can do to maintain our mental health. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long ago, hope you're back tomorrow, and always a pleasure. It's always nice to see that you're coming back on, and I have you out there in the audience.